Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen on the YouTube streets as well as all my social media platform. If you enjoy my content, I'd love to have you by clicking that red subscribe button in the bottom, and also don't forget to smash that like button because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. Now let us get into today's video. Today we're talking about black text. So I got a request from one of you guys on the comment section to talk about how do I deal with black text. How does one deal with black text? I want us to look at how do you balance your responsibilities in line with that of your family. How do you find the balance between the two? Because I'm not one to tell you to stop taking care of your family. I'm not one to tell you to stop doing things for your family. I'm not one to tell you not to help out at home because I do that myself. And so I'm not gonna come here and tell you, no, do not help out at home. Do not do this. Do not, do not give them money and all the stuff. Hey, majority of us were raised in poor backgrounds, in poor homes, and so if we are well off, if we have the resources and we are well off, then how we grew up, there is nothing wrong with helping out and actually encourage each and every one of you to do help out at home. But now the most important thing is, as much as we know that these responsibilities are there, taking care of your family, it is always going to be there, but then there's also your responsibilities at the same time. You also have to take care of yourself, you also have to take care of your family. But then now the question is, how do you find balance between the two, taking care of yourself as well as ensuring that you're helping out at home? I grew up in a poor home. It was not extreme, but it was poverty. It was very hard growing up. Yes, we had the roof over our heads, but it was not even that conducive anymore because it was built so long ago and so many years of struggles and all the stuff. It was just bad in there. I knew when I was studying that I had a responsibility to improve my home. I knew when I was studying that I had a lot on my shoulders, and I was very open to it because growing up in that suffering, growing up in that hunger, growing up in that state, I knew that it had to be changed. And my drive to even better my life, to go study so that I can work, it came from my upbringing. It came from the poverty that I had to live through. That for me was the biggest motivation. So I knew when I was studying that once I start working, I was going to do all these things. I used to even dream about these things. I would spend hours and hours just daydreaming of the things that I want to do at home, the way that I want to improve back at home, the things that I would love to do. I would literally delisa that house and build it up again. Delisa it, build it up again. When I say delisa it, demolish it in my brain. I would demolish it, build it up again through my daydreams, because that's how much I knew that I had a responsibility to improve things back at home. And when I started working, I did exactly that. I got into expensive debt in order for me to do that because I couldn't afford it to do it with my salary. And so I took out a debt to do those things at home. I renovated our house. Back then, it was just a 5-bedroom house. We had no bathroom, you guys, like no official bathroom. And so like it was, guys. And I used to sleep on the floor. If I wasn't sleeping on the floor, I would have to crash with my mom. So like it was just an ordeal. Like I knew that I have a child now. I'm working now. I cannot continue to sleep on the floor as an adult at home. And now that I'm working, I can do something. And so the first thing that I did, I got into debt in order for me to do these things at home, in order for me to extend at home. Gave our home a bathroom, like a proper bathroom, because we didn't have that for years. That house had no bathroom, you guys. I don't know what my dad was thinking. Had no bathroom, and then eventually we had a toilet, but it was just not done properly. And so when I got that money, we did the bathroom. Now we have a full-on bathroom. I extended to add two more rooms. Now I have my own bedroom when I go home. My sister has her own bedroom. My other sister also has her own bedroom. Like the kitchen looks much better. Like there's so much that I've done. There is so much that I've done in collaboration with my family, but heavy part of it fell on me. And I knew that it was something that had to be done. Do I regret it? I don't. Do I think that there was black text? It's not black text. But I know that for some people, they would look at that and think it is black text. It is not. For me, I don't regard it as black text because I understand where I come from, and the fact that if I didn't do it, that means that every time I'm going home, I'm going to be sleeping on the floor. I am going to be using a non-conducive bathroom, a non-existent bathroom. Like I knew that things had to change. I knew that things had to change, and I was willing to make those sacrifices. Fast forward, with all the things that I've done, with all the renovations at home, helping out with my mother as well, helping out with my siblings to pay their fees. Like there was a time whereby I was a student myself and I was paying for both my sister's school fees. My sister was with me at UKZN, the other one was at the college, and I was paying for their fees each and every month. I would send money to these things. Like with my younger sister Yena Ibile, like I remember this time they were about to kick her out because she had no funding anymore. I with her we had to go to the CFO. I had to ask to see the CFO so that I can ask that they do not kick her out, like we can make arrangements. And the CFO listened to me. I told the CFO, I was like, I work here right now. I'm a student, yes, but I work here. I'm an employee of UKZN. Can you kindly allow my sister to stay? We can make payment arrangements, guys. At that point, I was getting paid 8,000. Like, can we make payment arrangements for her? Each and every month you can deduct from my salary, directly from my salary, and then she can stay here. They agreed, that the CFO agreed, and I was just like, yo, thank you, God. And so my sister was staying with me the entire year. I was looking after her, making sure that she was fed, and still paying for her fees and paying for my other sister as well while a student. I've done all these things. So fast forward to that, I find myself then wanting to move my family. I'm telling you all this story because I want to give you the gist of when we start talking of, okay, you know, you need to start prioritizing yourself. What does it mean? You need to start throwing boundaries. What does it mean? You know, you need to start finding balance. What does it mean? Fast forward to all of that, I find myself wanting, and my mom also wanting to move, also myself wanting to move away from where we stay because it's just so far away from everything and everyone. And also with me working in Gauteng and then staying that far away from home, it makes it hard for me to go home. And so I found myself having this desire to uproot my entire family and have to move them somewhere. And then I looked at my resources. We tried saving, we tried doing all those things. I looked at my resources. I'm just like, okay, you don't have these resources, which means that you're gonna have to get into debt again in order for you to do this thing. My friend, my dear friend, when I spoke to her about this, and I'm so glad to have friends from different backgrounds, because my other friends, we are from the similar backgrounds. When it comes to these things, when it comes to family responsibilities, we don't care. We will do something because we come from similar backgrounds. But it's nice to have a friend that is not from a similar background, because they will give you a different insight. So my dear friend, when I spoke to her, I was like, I would love to do this for myself. I would love to buy myself. I told her, I was like, I would love to buy myself a car. I've got this car of my dreams. This car that I think about, that I see, and I'm just like, that car one day is gonna be mine. For people who do not know, as much as I budget for my petrol, it's not my car, it's my partner's car. So I don't regard that as mine. I would eventually love to buy my own car so that at home we can say there is a car. Like right now at home, there's not even one person who has a car, and I would love to know that, okay, I've got a car. Then I know that when I'm at home during the holidays, also at home, we have a car instead of lokus kudla kudla ngamateksi. So I was like, I have this vision. I would love to buy myself a car, this car. But at the same time, there's this big thing on my shoulders of wanting to uproot my family. And if I'm being honest with you, I cannot afford it. If I have to do this, it means that I have to forego this car thing. Just forget about it, put it on the wayside so that I can do this for my family. And she said, and all the things that you have done at home, all the things that you have done for your family, don't you think that if you keep going down this route, you're going to end up resenting your family? Basically what she was saying is, just be careful not to want to give too much of yourself, too much of your resources, that you forsake yourself, you put yourself on the west side. Because if you keep doing that, and you keep putting your family first, and then you do not get the level of appreciation that you desire, you will end up resenting your family, because you're looking at the things that you have had to forego, things that you have had to put aside for your family's sake. And then you're going to start resenting your mom, start resenting your family and all the stuff. And I could instantly, when she said that, something clicked in me. I'm like, that is so true, because truth is, with all the things that I have done for my family, with all the sacrifices that I've made, the debts that I've gotten into, sacrificing my income as a student to help out, I also do not feel like I get as much appreciation, or I get like I don't want people to walk on, to put a red carpet for me or to praise me or what. But I desire for people to show me that they are grateful. Like, show me that you are grateful. Stop asking for more and more and more, you know? So, and she said that it clicked for me that it is time for me to start prioritizing myself. It is time for me to start finding the balance. As much as I want to do these things at home, but right now I cannot. So stop pressurizing yourself. That is where I felt like it's that, you want that part of me wanting to uproot and what. That's where I started feeling like, yeah, this is real black text, Gemagia. This is real, you know. And so I'm telling you all this because I want to give you an overview of my story. That, okay, as I'm talking about black text, I know these things. I've went through these things, but also, as much as I did not call most of these things black text, but I did them willingly. But then came a point whereby I could not do anymore. Like right now, where I'm sitting right now, the level of things that I needed, I cannot do anymore. I cannot do. I can help out there and there, like small things, small things, small things. But then the things that are needed right now are big things that need real money. And if I'm being honest, I cannot do because I do not have those resources. But also understand that for some of you guys, you are facing the similar situations whereby your family is requiring you to help to do all of these things, and you might find that you do not have the resources. You might find that you've stretched yourself too thin that you cannot stretch anymore. Like, there is nowhere to go from where you are. And sometimes for some of you guys, I do know that some families can put so much pressure on you and even say things that make you feel bad for the fact that you've got the resources but you cannot help, even when those resources are just enough for your family, like for your immediate family. But then they expect you to still help, and if you do not help, then it's like this bad thing that you're doing. How do you find a balance between helping out at home and taking care of yourself, like with your responsibilities? Before we get into those points, I just want to emphasize this. There is nothing wrong with you helping out at home, especially when you know where you are coming from. You know, when you start talking about people that grew up in poverty, and you know that maybe where you are the only one that could bring change, that can bring change in your family, there's absolutely nothing wrong with bringing change into your family. There should be evidence that someone is working. When for a long time you have been living in poverty, there should be evidence that someone is working. If you grew up in poverty and now you are working, you are well off, you work in Joburg, Durban, Cape Town, wherever, Bloemfontein, you work in these big cities, but every time you go home, it's like no one is working. Question yourself, please. I am not going to be one of those people to say, no, it's okay. No, question yourself. Get your story right, because that is not acceptable. You can't grow up in poverty. When you're working now, when your life has improved, the only thing you focused on is yourself, and every time you go home, you still go back to that state that you left or that you grew up in. No, guys, that is not acceptable. I'm just gonna call that out. If you are one of those people and you are in this community, please do the right thing. Please fix back at home. Fix that home. Fix it, please. As I said, there's nothing wrong with helping at home. Please make sure that you do help out at home, especially if you can afford it. Please help out at home. However, there's a difference between helping out and being taken advantage of. And also, please know this. As much as you can want to help out at home, you cannot help everyone. You cannot be the solution for everyone. That is where the problem become. Whereby now you wanna be a solution for everyone. You people expect you to be a solution for everyone. Just because now when you are out or you have improved your life, now you must improve everyone. No. There is so much weight that you can carry. There is so much weight that you can carry. Do not try to be Batista and try to carry everyone. Do not. And when they expect you to be Batista, tell them politely that you cannot be Batista. Now let's get to the point that I feel like are very important whenever you're trying to deal with black text, especially if you come from a family that is demanding demanding or that is expecting so much of you. This is how I go about it. Ne? So the first thing that I do is I budget for it. So as you know, I'm a pro budgeter. I'm an obsessed budgeter. I budget each and every month. So let's say, for instance, something comes up, something is needed at home. So I need to help someone. I try by all means to budget for that. I do not like things that come out of the blue. At home, they know that. I do not like people coming to me and asking me to help out of the blue and expecting me to help. My salary comes in once in a month, ne? And then I budget for that. And then now if you're gonna come and ask for my assistance after I've budgeted, I've gotten paid, I've spent, where are you expecting me to get the money? Where must I get the money? Let's say, for instance, someone comes and say, okay, can you please help with this, or something is needed. What I do is I try to budget for it as much as possible. Like if you notice, my budget is got my mtases, my sisters. The other one is Umholiswana, but the other one is my other sister. She's at school and I help her out with the rent at school. And that is standard in my budget. It has to be there every month. It has to be there so that I know that I have money put aside for me to give to her. And so that is what I mean when I say I budget for it. If it's something that I know that is going to be consistent, like it's going to be a fixed expense, what I do is I just put it on my budget. But then if it's a once-off thing, I try to see if I can put it in my budget, especially if I do not have the resources for it. And also if it's not in me, like if it's not an emergency thing, I try to put resources for it. So that is the first thing, budget for it. So if someone comes to you and asks for something and you feel like, okay, right now I do not have the resources, but I can fit you in my next month's budget, there's nothing wrong with telling them that, can I budget, can I help you in the following month, or can I help with this in the following month so that I can feature this in my budget. And then the second thing that I do is to save for it. If it's something that is big, that I feel like, okay, as much as I can budget for it, but I cannot budget it for once and then be able to do it, I need to actually save for it. So that will be the second thing that I do. I would save for that thing. I'll just include it on my savings. I'll just include it on my savings. That will be the second thing that I do. That is how I'm able to help. By first saying, okay, let me try and budget for it. And then if I see this needs more money, then let's look into saving. Then I will do that. The third thing, this is the decider. This is the most important thing that I just want to emphasize. If there's a request that comes to you seeking help or seeking for you to assist, and you cannot help immediately, you cannot budget for it, you cannot save for it, you simply cannot help. Make peace with that. If you cannot help them immediately, if you cannot budget for it, if you cannot save for it, then you simply cannot help. Where are you expecting to have the resources to help? Where? If you try to do that, if you try to help knowing very well that the other 3 boxes you have not ticked, you are putting yourself on so much pressure. Like for me, when I wanted to uproot my family, I could not do it immediately. I could not budget for it per month. I used to budget for it and I would say, okay, I'm putting money for this. I used to, if you remember, beginning of the year, I used to have a building what savings. I saved for that. And then I used to have also, I was budgeting for it, and I was budgeting for it as part of my savings, and I would try and save. But then I realized I cannot afford to do this. Whenever I would look at homes that were being sold and all the stuff, I quickly realized I cannot afford to do this. And I had to make peace with it. It took a very long time for me to make peace with it, but I had to make peace with that. That, you know what, I cannot do this. There are things that I can help with. This one, it's bigger than me. Bigger than me. And so I had to put it aside and say, this I cannot do. Right now at home, it's not like we have no house. It's not like we have no home. We have a home. It's not like we don't have a roof. So we don't even owe anyone. Even with the renovations, I don't even owe the bank anymore because I paid all of that off. We don't owe anyone. And so what is the rush? What is the pressure? Where is the pressure? That's when I realized, no, stop putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. Relax. And so what I'm saying to you is, if you cannot help immediately, you cannot budget for it, you cannot save for it, you simply cannot help. just get to that conclusion. Ne? And then the last thing that I'm going to encourage you to do, and this is something it's not gonna be easy with most families, but it's something that I would really advise you to do in order for you to help to avoid or to better deal with black tax in the future, is to encourage your family to save together. So when you go home this time in December, just try get, especially your immediate family, don't include your aunts and uncles, no, your nieces, no, your mother, your father, your sisters, your brothers, those that are willing to do it. Try to encourage them to save as a family. Person that you feel like is more good when it comes to money can be responsible for this, not anyone in the family. We know there are people that cannot be trusted with money in our families. Someone that is good with money, if you are one of those people who are good with money, then you'll be the treasurer of that. I'm the treasurer at home. I'm the treasurer. So encourage your family to save together. Like, have a fund where you put money aside as a family each and every month. Now, we started very well beginning of the year, where me, my mother, my sister, we were saving. And then my sister fell on the west side because she would save, borrow from all of that money, and it was just a game that she was not winning. So she stopped. And then my mom, she would save, she would not save, save, she would not save. You know, I've been the one who's been consistent until I realized I cannot save anymore. I can't. So Nami, I stopped and I saved for other things. However, that fund is still there. I really encourage you to do this. The reason why I'm encouraging you to do this is because what I found with my family is that, especially this year, when something would come up, like let's say for instance my mother was not feeling well, she needed to go to the doctor and what, she didn't have money, we knew that we had money on the savings, so we'll take from there, I would give to her, she'll go to the doctor, come back good. Ne? If someone needed help, like my sister, especially when it comes to us who are saving, she'll say, yo, I need money for this and this and this. I knew I didn't have to go and tap into my salary. I knew that there were savings. I'll go into those savings and then I'll give her the money. The problem comes when now it becomes a habit whereby people, when they're having financial struggles, they just know automatically that there's that money. That is where the problem becomes when it comes to those things. But I love the idea of that, because for me, it really helped me so much when it comes to avoiding black tax, because I didn't have to go and dig into my salary and figure out how I'm going to help, because there was that fund. But the problem is now when people think that the money is not finishing, when people are not putting in the money but then keep coming back to borrow, that is where the problem is, because they keep coming back to borrow and the money is being depleted and depleted and depleted. Now you're telling people that aibo phela manje, just know that you do not have as much money. You know, there isn't as much money and people are like shocked. Hey, how? You know, and the strategy that I ended up coming with for my family is we save with Time Bank, my Time Bank account. What I do is, in my Time Bank now, I have different goals for each and every one of us. So what I did was I opened a goal for my sister, opened a goal for my mother, and opened a goal for me. And then every time someone will send me money, I will put specifically on their goal. That's the nice thing about Time Bank, because we've got 10 goals. Ne? So I'll put specifically on their goals. So when they come and borrow money or come and ask that they need help with this and this, I'll say, I do not have money, but your savings have got money. Can I take from your savings to give you? And then it was like, sure. And then I will take from there. And then, so the nice thing, it was easier for me to track who still has money, who doesn't have money. Because if you put it all in one basket, trust and believe, khona nje who gonna kill that, khona nje laba bazohlezi bebuye, coming back to borrow from that until it is depleted. Ne? And so that for me really did help for us to save as a family, and I would really encourage you to do that. Time Bank is a great place to do that, whereby you know that you can share the account with your family, they can put money in there, you can agree on the minimum that, okay, per month can we please make sure that you put 500 rands per person, and this is money that you know that it can help you as a family. But also if there are things that come up as a family, you know that there is money for those things. It is not an easy thing to do, trust me, it's not an easy thing to do, but it is a good thing to do. Like, I don't regret me saving with my family. I hope that this video does help you in terms of navigating black tax, in terms of just dealing with it in a most productive way, in a way that is filling in your cup, in a way that doesn't drain you of your resources and of your energy, because it is possible. For me, when I look back then and I look now, I can tell you this: I am okay. I am okay. Not that the things do not come, not that there aren't instances whereby I'm asked to help, but I am much better because I've learned to find a balance. As I said, if I cannot do the points that I shared with you, then I simply cannot help. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.